at what point did you make the choice to go into the Army?
Oh my goodness. So I look back and, my mom had this small home, and on the doors it had be all you can be. Back in the day it was be all you can be, go Army. And I remember like, what is this? And she said, oh, you don't realize that some of your siblings, your brothers and sisters were in the military, and there's a couple that are active duty now. Really? I said, that's what I want to do. Like, are you sure? I was like, yeah, because I am not staying in this small town. I'm not going to be in a factory. And my mother had told me numerous times, you cannot be like me. You will not be a housekeeper. And I'm like, well, I don't want to leave home. I got a son. She said, I'll take care of him, but I need you to get out of here. Went to college, and I said my goal was I'm going to go 4 years of college, and then I'm going to join. Well, I said it 2 years later. I'm going to join the Army, per se. And it was more Air Force or Marines or whatever the case. But I remember when I was a senior in college, and I went to the recruiter's office one day. I'm like, I'm going to go do it now. I'm preparing for it. And I went to the Marine office, and I know somebody watching this, and I know some Marines in the room right now. They were on lunch. And I said, on lunch? What are you talking about? I'm ready to do this now. I'm ready to sign up. I went over to the Army. They were there. And I said, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. And of course, I didn't know I had, it was going to be a delay for a while, but I signed up then. I graduated from college and off I went, but I didn't get a chance to go as an officer as I wanted. I went in and enlisted, and that was the best thing that ever happened. I got a chance to see from ground zero what it looks like. And when I retired as a major in the United States Army after 21 years.
That's incredible. I mean, I'd love to hear a couple stories about the Army. To be honest, I think there's a big swath of America that understands the armed forces. And then there's the rest of us. It's like, I don't really know. Yeah. What does somebody in the Army do when you're not in active duty, when it's not wartime? Yeah. What is a day in the life of somebody in the military?
You're always preparing for wartime, though. Yes. They have this saying, we do more before 9 o'clock than most people do all day. That's real. Because, as a mom, I was a mom and a wife while I was active duty military at one point. And you're up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, getting the kids ready for daycare. You're gone, and you have to be in formation at 6 o'clock a.m. So it's dark outside. Street lights are still on, and you're standing in formation, getting ready for your physical training. It's like PT. Most people, it's exercise or what have you. It's mandatory. Mm-hmm. You're doing that. You're done by 7:30. You go take a shower, and you have to be in the office by 9. That's where they say we do more before 9 than most people do all day. Mm-hmm. You're doing that. You're going to meetings and training and preparing for what's happening in the world right now. What is the president saying for us to do? Where is the next war? Who's going to do this? Who's going to do that? And you're becoming a master at the craft, but you've been trained to do. No one's ever asked me that question. So thank you for asking. What do I do all day? I'm becoming a master at what I've been trained to do, and I'm preparing for the worst. Mm. And so when you get that call, hey, you got 24 hours, you have 5 weeks, or you have 2 months, we're leaving. I'm a mom. I got to make sure I have daycare permanently while I'm gone. I got to make sure everything is taken care of. And you got to help your family understand, hey, you may not be able to reach me when you want. I can't necessarily possibly tell you where I am, and all of those things. So never really thought about the day in the life. It is just something that you do. And you're on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There's like, oh, don't call me. You may be on leave, which is vacation or something like that. But for the most part, you're always on call just in case something happens.
Well, it sounds like it prepared you for what you teach people today in life, which is mastering your craft, preparing for the worst, and preparing to be your best.
That's good.
Right?
Yes.
So I would imagine the Army beat you down and also built you up. Right?
I love how you said that. Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. From the moment you get off the bus, you're only prepared. You can only take so many items with you in the bag. I know I don't pack light anymore. I was like, I'm going to take as many bags as I want, at least, depending on what flight I'm taking and all of that. But I just remember having this bag, and once you get there, they give you a duffel bag. It's green bag. It's got these 2 handles on it so you can put it on your back. And they tell you certain things, call it contraband, that you can't take with you. You want to take your perfume and your toiletries and all that. No, you're not taking any of that. You got underwear. Honestly, they won't even let you take too many pair of that because you have to go and get, at the stores a certain brand and all of that. So you can't take a lot of things at all. These lashes and makeup and all that. Nah, you couldn't take that. And as soon as you get on this bus, they're rushing you on this bus and they're yelling the entire time. I've never been yelled at so much in my life, but you get accustomed to it. And when you get off the bus, there's some feet. Can you imagine someone says, get on this bus. We're about to change your life. When you get off, we're going to take you through 90 days of training to change from where you are right now to being the most disciplined, intentional human being and leader that's out there. You're like, what does that look like? Can you follow instructions while somebody's yelling at you? Can you compose yourself and your emotions and learning how to think under pressure? It's a game changer. It starts as soon as you get off the bus and you say, I'm here, I'm ready. But it was a change for me. No, it was a shift, and the best shift, because it gave me the opportunity to physically fight, number one. I mean, be legally fight, not physically, but legally fight, because the training that you go through, the combat training, from weaponry to land nav and to navigating your way, not just in the military, through lands of places you've never been, day and night. It's a game changer. And it has been, especially for women. There were not a lot of women in the military, especially not a lot that were senior at that time, but just being there has just changed. It helped me look at my life totally different. And it gave me, and I say jokingly, legally the opportunity to fight, but it gave me the opportunity to stand up for myself and then begin to lead other people. It happened so naturally for me.
Incredible. So your time through the Army, you're growing, you're changing.
Yeah.
And I heard you say on stage today that you came back from wartime 3 times, but all the times your body came back, but the last time your mind didn't.
Yeah.
So what happened with PTSD?
I went to Iraq. I remember I was there 15 months, consecutive months. Just imagine being away from your family. And the job that I had at that time, I was a battle captain. And the battle captain was responsible for reporting accountability of all the people that were in our FOB area of operation. And I was responsible for tracking KIA, which is killed in action, missing in action, and all of that, civilians and military, all branches. And you don't know what you don't know until you're in it. And it was just intense all the time. You are wondering, you hear a noise, the ground is shaking, you know you've just been bombed, the lights are out, people are yelling, they're screaming, okay, we got to get in the bunkers. It was just a lot. It was intense. And just knowing if there was a KIA or a missing in action, we call it a blackout. A blackout is when they just turn all the power off, no internet, none of that. You can't call out because of the thought that somebody's going to call back home and let a family member know that they just lost their loved one, their child or their daughter. And we didn't get the opportunity to properly account for that person. And so that was stressful. And the soldiers that I had working for me, it was stressful. It was a lot. And you're trying to care for them and then have self-care. And honestly, as a senior leader, it wasn't a lot of training around that. So I had to navigate my way through that. So when I went home, my body physically went home, but emotionally and spiritually, mentally, I didn't. Like, it was just like I died there. So when I got back, I'm getting emotional on this. When I got back home, it was like certain noises, things were happening around me, and I had to acclimate back to the life that I was supposed to be in. And it took me a while. Thank goodness for therapy. Thank goodness that I went to the next job where I had doctors and nurses I was their supervisor, because we were caring for the people that came back from Iraq. And I had them right there where I can have conversation like, hey, I have anxiety. I'm having immense anxiety all the time. I would have anxiety attacks. It started like, one every 2 weeks. Then it went to every week. Then it went to every day. Then it went to 2 and 3 times a day. And that was a lot to handle and deal with.
So at this point, you're coming back. Are you married at this point?
I'm still married at this point. Okay. I was married 18 years.
Yes, you're married 18 years.
Yes.
So tell me the state of affairs. So you come back, you're a mom of 3.
Yes.
And you're married. And this is when things start to kind of dissolve.
Yeah, we got back and I haven't really had that conversation, but I think he was dealing with something because he was in the similar situation on a different location where we had similar jobs that we had to account for people.
So you're both
military, both active duty.
I see. And then your mom was with the kids?
No, my kid at the time, our kids were with his mom and his sister. Right.
It's hard.
Oh yeah. At that time, my mom had passed.
Okay.
So it was a bit much to deal with that, but went back home and I'm just dealing with those things. And some things took place where I was like, I just went through this roller coaster ride with myself, Am I supposed to be with this person? I knew I shouldn't have been. I know people say that, but I knew it had ended because I had survived a true battlefield. And now I had a battlefield in my household, and I was like, I can't do this. And so he walked away, said he didn't want to be married anymore. I said, okay. I filed for divorce, and we went through 3 years of battling who gets what. Same time I'm dealing with PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I'm learning that I have a traumatic brain injury, some things that happened in Iraq. And I'm just trying to deal with everything. I'm going through a divorce, and now I'm a single mom. All I can say, there is a grace in what I believe that happens to those of us who not just are resilient, but endure a thing. I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy, but I also wouldn't change anything that I've ever gone through because it helped me become who I am today. From the military to the things that happened to me in my childhood, and learning how to be the leader within myself in order for me to help other people.